going on, guys? It's Ashford from ASHTAGbricks here, and today I have got a review for you. It is the Lego City Construction Loader, set number 620, excuse me, why did I get those mixed up? 60219, and it's got 88 pieces, and it's from 2019. Yeah, I've been wanting to get this one out to you guys for a little bit, so yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. And as I just mentioned a second ago, this is ASHTAGbricks 20th video. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yeah, which we're making pretty good progress, because my goal that I had was for us to reach 50 videos published by, let's see, August, which would be our 1-year anniversary. Yeah, so making good progress. Done 20 videos. Here's to 30 more so we can reach our goal. Without further ado, let me open this up and let's check out the parts. Alright, I know opening that box was a little bit messier than I normally do it, but that thing, oh my gosh, that thing didn't want to come open. I tried opening it with the thumb tab that was included to help you open it easier. Would not come open, so just had to rip it open there. As far as the parts are concerned, nothing too fancy, nothing too special, nothing we really haven't seen before. You do have a couple of half tiles, or as half plates, little elements like that. And the most interesting things to me are, like, you have this sort of picket fence element, which all in all isn't too common. You have a roll cage, so if you don't have many of those, you get one of those, as well as the ratcheted hinge style front loader element. And then you also have a jackhammer, which is pretty interesting because those sometimes aren't very common. Sometimes, like, it does release a bunch of them. And then you get 3 of these one stud mini peg adapters for minifigs and for a bunch of other stuff, and they're in brown in this set. I'm not too sure if they've been in brown before. I know they've been in clear, I know they've been in gold, and I think maybe a couple of other colors, but I personally have not had them in brown before, so that's very interesting. And so yeah, the rest of it, give you a quick look over, but again, nothing too fancy. You do get 3 round 1x1 tiles in olive. Yeah, other than that, not too much going on for it. Here's a sticker sheet. Very simple, one big sort of logo sticker for the front loader, and then 2 smaller red and white striped, pretty standard construction signage. And so yeah, let's get to building this thing. The one construction guide that comes with the set. And the one thing I did forget to mention in the parts segment that is kind of cool is it comes with a hard hat noise canceling headphone piece that is dual molded, and I always like dual molded parts, particularly with minifigs, and so that's a pretty cool piece, particularly if you don't have very many of them. You can see the print on his torso right there. No print on the legs, but it is a nice sand blue for the legs. But you can see the print. Very simplistic. Not too many layers of detail, but I feel like it suits it very nicely. What print is there, I do like. You can see him, the zipper on his high visibility vest. You can see the background of his button-down shirt. And you can see his undershirt, his little white t-shirt there. And the way it was printed, I do feel like it made the layers work very nicely, because you can almost feel with the brown of his arms and the brown of the button down, you can almost feel realistic dimensionality between the layers of clothing, and if that makes sense, and you can almost feel what it would look like in real life. Flipping it around, it's even more simplistic in back, and just a couple lines for detail, and you can see a little pair of pliers in his back pocket there. Does, again, as I said, the part segment does come with a jackhammer. It is a little difficult to get in, is kind of difficult to get situated into his hands, but I mean, if you really want it in there, it's not too difficult. You just sort of have to make sure the hands are in the same direction like I've got them. You got, and just sort of have to line it up and finagle with it for a minute. So if you're trying to just hurry it in there because you're playing with it and just want it in his hands, you might be better off just having it in one hand to simulate it for play. But if you're setting up a construction diorama or some display with the jackhammer, then it would be perfectly fine, and I'm sure you'd be perfectly happy taking a minute to really set up the jackhammer into his hands to get a good look for it. And again, it doesn't look bad in just one hand, and so I would definitely recommend just doing it one-handed if you're just trying to get it in there to play with it, because it is a lot easier, and it would probably wear on your patience less play-wise just to do it that way. But yeah, it's a good little guy. Do like the print there. You do see a bit of stubble on his face and a little bit of a raised eyebrow. Not quite sure what he's raising his eyebrow at. Perhaps maybe the crane's doing something funny, or just something funny's happening, and he's going, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? So yeah, let's move on. Okay, here's the main build of this thing. The actual front loader itself. Was a pretty nice build. For such a small build, I wasn't actually expecting to enjoy the build as much as I did. But yeah, it was a nice build. A couple of things were a bit unexpected. The way they created the platform for the minifig to sit in, and the way they worked with a little bit of fence. When we get to that, I'll tell you a little bit about what happened there, which was pretty interesting. But overall, while it was an enjoyable build, it was very simplistic. So you're not getting too many thrills out of it, but you are getting, you are going to get an enjoyable build. The majority of the shape of this thing really comes from the roll cage and the actual digger arms, and because those are things that go on last. And before that, I'm not going to worry about taking them off to really show you. Before that, it kind of looks almost like a go-kart. Kind of looks just a little chunky, little unfinished, but that's because it is. And you can see once you get the arms, the crane arm, or well, digger arm on, and you get the roll cage on, the shape that it needed is truly added to it, and it doesn't really feel like anything is missing again. But and so that's not really a complaint. It's just you need to finish the build for it to look good, which is the same with quite literally any set. These are the only, you can see right here, the only 3 stickers, as we've mentioned in the parts segment. These are the 3 stickers, and you can see how they go on. And that was another little fun part, was the way they had the shape of the this back panel. That was really nice. And so yeah, overall, yeah, the shape of everything is pretty nice once you finish it. You can see there are some clear plates, simulate lights, but not too much detail, which there really doesn't need to be, because the majority of the time the arm is going to be lowered like this, and you really can't see it anyway, unless you're really just looking to see it, which is fine. You look in the cab, and it's pretty simplistic. The seat is just really just these 3 pieces. The 2 main brown plates sort of give curvature to the back of the seat, and then this plate, which just, or half tile, half plate, which just adds 2 studs for the minifig to really sit in, which is fine because it makes them easier to get in and out. Then you can see armrests here and here. And you can see these brown elements, these little mini peg adapters, which I talked about having come in clear and gold before. Those, I suspect, are supposed to be the controls. Let me just get this guy in here real quick and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There we go. Again, really easy to get him in there. If he leans forward just a smidge, he can kind of reach the mini pegs on there. And so I'm assuming that's what's supposed to be the controls to control the digger and possibly even steer. There's no steering wheel, which is fine. I mean, not too much. It did take me a minute. It did take me a while after building this to realize just what these were supposed to represent and that those are supposed to be the controls, because that I was almost going to complain that there were no controls and that there should have been a steering wheel or a lever piece or something. But Lego, you still got me. You still can't get me because they remembered. They didn't skimp. They didn't remove controls. They've got those in, and I truly wouldn't have thought about using those as levers, as simulated levers. They're much smaller than the regular lever pieces that actually have this adjustable sticks. And so they do fit in a lot nicer. And I feel like just having those is honestly better than having the normal levers or having a steering wheel. And so, yeah, you got me there, Lego. Also, these two front studs on the black plate, as well as those mini peg adapters, help keep the roll cage in place. And the roll cage is nice. You've got the main lights up at the top, main wheels, and so yeah, that's really all there is to the build. Again, very simplistic. You can see from the bottom the chassis. There's not much going on for that. It's very simplistic. You might have been able to see in the time lapse just what was going on, but just when you think you got something, you've really got a good valid complaint with a Lego set. Lego goes to do something like that. One thing I can say, and I can validly say about this model, and this really goes for any, well, first of all, here's the range of motion with the digger arm. You've probably seen me moving it around a little bit. Really can lift it above the roll cage, which don't know how safe that is, but that's why the roll cage is there, so you could probably do that. More realistically, you probably just raise it up to about there, and then you've also got this part at a swivel, and then you also have a ratcheted hinge right here, and that's not as easy to do, particularly as it's a bit stiff as you first are trying to break in the parts. That's a bit stiff, and you sort of have to grab either side of this plate and adjust it. And so, yeah, but you probably won't be doing too much of that anyway. You can actually get the main digger bucket in down to the ground, and you can see I've gathered up the extra parts from the set. If you were wondering what the extra parts were, there they are. But this is the standard complaint with this main bucket part, with just about anywhere it comes from. It doesn't scoop it up on its own, but you can, with a little nudging, get it up, and it looks nice. It stays in there pretty well. I mean, you just saw me. I raised it up, and it's perfectly fine staying in there. Then when you can drive over here. Oh, that one fell out, but that one was near the edge. So as long as they're truly in the bucket, it's fine. And then you just can dump them out. So that's pretty nice. Let's get on to the last little thing, because it does go, of course, with the set, and I will talk a little bit about the playability there. So here's the last little thing with the set, last little assembly, and it was a fun little build too. If you've never had one of these fence pieces before, you do get one in brown. And I want to talk about the build of this for a quick second. You can see it's only a handful of parts, and you can really see quite easily how it goes together. And you've got these curved 1x2 bricks, okay? Jumper right in the middle, and then these two olive round tiles. And how it goes is this: you can put it the last one end of the fence on the jumper stud, and it really just slots in to the little groove of these bricks and really just follows the tiles. And that was so nice to me because it looks like grass, it looks like a little bit of a wall, and it really looks like it goes together. You can, oh, sorry about that, about to leave the tripod on you, but you can really see how it goes together, and it really looks good. And that was such a simple technique, such a simple build, but it does work very well. And so bringing the front loader back over, this is the main thing you're really supposed to be trying to pick up, other than the extra parts, of course, because you can always do that. I think what you're supposed to do is just, oh, let me hold the poster board still. Okay, I've done this before, it's worked. Maybe if I lift it up a little bit. So what you're supposed to do is just kind of knock it over and then pick it up. This does have a little bit of trouble staying in, so you do kind of have to tilt that up. Again, good thing the roll cage is there, because you saw it almost would have landed on the Minifigs head otherwise, but it does kind of stay in there. It is a bit, as you've seen on camera, this wasn't really me trying. This was just, well, it was me trying, but I've done it. I've done it a couple of times off camera, and it's knocked over, and now it's not. Now it's not wanting to work on camera, which is how things usually work. Hey, so yeah, it is a little bit difficult. The one main complaint I do have is that I wish things were a little bit easier to pick up with this. But if you get tired of dealing with this, you can always just do that. Make a little bit of this. And then again, with a little nudging, just scoot scoot all this in there. Or you can even break these apart if you want to. And tilt it up. Drive it where you need to. There. And I'm assuming they're wanting to break this down to make a building or something, or clear a site. There you go. Probably, the grass probably wouldn't come up that cleanly. But hey. Let me reassemble that, and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the jackhammer back in the Minifigs hand. And truly, once you've got the hands lined up, that's what takes the longest time, is just to make sure they're truly parallel, the hands are truly symmetrical. But just then, it only took me a second. Once I got the jackhammer lined up and the hands lined up, it just clicked right in. So that might be a little fast. Once you finagle with it and get used to it, I feel like it would be a lot faster than it might seem at first. Because, again, like I just said, I did it just then, and it went a lot faster and a lot smoother than the first time I tried it. You also have to work with the parts, because as they're new, you sort of have to break the Minifigs hands in, break the jackhammer in, because parts are stiff. As particularly the things with joints and clips are stiff when you first get them. But yeah, I like the set. I really do. You get good value. The MSRP is $9.99 for this set, and so I think it's a fun, small little set. And whether you're getting it for yourself or your kid, whoever you're getting it for, I think there is a bit of an audience. The build, again, all of it is a nice, fun build. The only thing I could really say about it is I do wish Lego made the axle pins in the color other than blue for the stuff. I know it makes it easier to identify the parts and to get them. But it is a little unsightly, particularly when there's no other blue in the model. But yeah, I think you get good value for this. There's good playability. Again, you do have to finagle with the fence a little, maybe knock it over yourself, or break it apart and bring the individual pieces into the bucket, or rake it in yourself, which is just something that it has trouble doing on its own. I honestly don't know a way to fix that with that part, so I can't really criticize it. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little playable set. Oh my gosh, couldn't get that out. The minifig, it's simplistic, but it does make good use of the parts. And if you're a custom minifig maker like I am, I do enjoy having parts like that because I might actually use some of these guys' parts. Oh my gosh, keep accidentally knocking into my tripod, I'm so sorry. But I might actually use this guy's parts to make another construction minifig. If you've not seen my other the videos of my other construction minifigs, or my forklift mock, in the corner and link in the description. It is, I mean, Lego even got me with the whole control thing because, again, at first I didn't even think they included controls, but then I realized those mini pack adapters are the controls. They're simulated levers, and that was really clever. Lego, you got me once again. Just as I start to criticize something, you've got me. So I feel like there is value if, again, good playability. So if you're getting this for a kid, they're gonna have a good time, particularly if they don't have many other construction sets or any construction sets. Or even if they don't have many other Lego sets, this provides what they need to truly get a good time of playing with this. And again, even if they don't have many of the parts, use the extra parts because those provide you plenty of stuff to just rake up, drive around the floor, dump out, and it's fun. And if you are wanting this for the parts, it's not got anything too special other than the roll cage and the digger bucket. But it is nice, and they do replenish, like they've got yellow slopes, yellow grills, stuff like that to give you good parts. If you're buying this to have in a small diorama or a small construction display, it'll fit right in. Or if you're buying this for inspiration to make a front loader mock, which I will probably be making a front loader soon, possibly basing it off of this. Whatever you're buying it for, I feel like you do get good value for your money. And again, it's not too expensive, only $9.99, so a relatively small set. Again, it's only got, what did I say, 88 pieces? So you really get, and 4 out of those 88 pieces, you really get good value. So I like the set. If you like it, or if you enjoyed this video, maybe leave a like on the video. See if I can get my actual thumb into the frame. And if you want to see more like it, because we do all sorts of Lego related content, design and technique showcases, we do mocks, time lapses, let's build, reviews now, all sorts of stuff. Please do subscribe, because you're going to hopefully get some really good entertaining content that I will hopefully deliver on that promise with. And, you know, it'll also help myself and the channel out. If you like technology, pop culture, science, that kind of stuff, we make some hopefully entertaining content on our brother channel, Geek Hotspot, link in the description. And so hopefully you'll enjoy that too. Like, subscribe, all that good jazz. I'll see you in the next video.